What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Eastside Fly. And today we have some real serious business. I am in my all black because we are going to be talking about how we can change this NFL catch rule to benefit the average NFL fan, because we have been seeing a lot of controversy over this season, over the playoffs, about what is a catch, what is not a catch. So I wanted to kind of take all the different instances that we've seen and try to come up with a rule that, as a viewer, you can read and be like, okay, that makes sense, and then kind of give where I'm getting this information from, to try to make it all make sense. Let me know what you think in the comments below after this, after you watch the full video. Let me know what you would change, what you would add, would you just ignore everything that I just said and keep the rule as it is, because like, if you know the rule, you know what the call should be. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's jump right into it. First, we're going to look at the actual NFL rule. So, completed or intercepted pass. A player who makes a catch may advance the ball. A forward pass is completed by the offense or intercepted by the defense in the field of play, at the sideline, or in the end zone if a player who is in bounds, and then you have to do the next 3 points, A, B, and C. You have to have all three. As it stands now, secures control of the ball in his hands or arms prior to the ball touching the ground, and touches the ground inbounds with both feet or any part of his body other than his hands, and after A and B have been fulfilled, clearly performs any act common to the game, i.e. extending the ball forward, taking an additional step, tuck the ball away and turn upfield, or avoid or ward off an opponent, or he maintains control of the ball long enough to do so. So, the first thing that we see in that is there is not much about going to the ground. As you move forward, it gives you notes. Note number one: movement of the ball does not automatically result in loss of control. If a player who satisfied A and B has not yet satisfied C contacts the ground and loses control of the ball, it is an incomplete pass if the ball hits the ground before he regains control, or if he regains control out of bounds. A receiver is considered a defenseless player. That talks more about the defenseless hit, which covers that. If a pass is caught simultaneously by two eligible opponents, both players retain it. The ball belongs to the passer's person that they were trying to throw the ball to. It is not a simultaneous catch if a player gains control first and an opponent subsequently gains joint control. If the ball is muffled after simultaneous touching by two such players, all the players of the passing team become eligible to catch the loose ball. If a player who is in control of the ball is upheld and carried out of bounds before both feet or any part of the body other than his hands touches the ground in bounds, it is a completed or intercepted pass. It is not necessary for the player to maintain control of the ball when he lands out of bounds. If any part of his foot hits out of bounds during the normal continuous motion of taking a step, heel toe heel, then the foot is out of that player is out of bounds if he drags his wait, hold on, I messed that up. Anyways, basically if you're out of bounds on the heel toe heel, if any part of your foot hits that, you're out of bounds, it's incomplete. So here's what I would do. Here's how I would make this a little bit easier for people to understand, because a part of this is the idea of going to the ground. So I would add that into the rule, and here's how I would word it. If a receiver voluntarily goes to the ground after contact is made when an eligible body part hits the ground, the receiver is down by contact. This is the first part. This is referring to this catch by Davante Adams. And you're going to watch this and people are like, oh my gosh, it's the same as the Bills. But this would cover it. And I kind of understand what they meant by this. Watch how he goes down here. You're going to see it in slow motion. As he's going to make this catch, he has stopped and voluntarily goes to the ground. His knee touches, and as he's being fully taken to the ground, that's when you have your play being done. That's the end of the play. is when his knee hits the ground, because he is voluntarily going to the ground. You're going to see it right here. He puts a knee to the ground. He has possession of the ball. His knee is going to hit the ground. And that is the end of the play. So, that would be the first aspect of this, is that he is going to the ground voluntarily. Now, if the receiver is going to the ground as a result of an involuntary motion, such as you are rolling, the receiver must maintain control of the ball until the receiver has stopped the involuntary motion. For example, if I'm rolling, I have to complete my roll, have possession of the ball, can't move, and then the play is over. This would be in response to the Bills game. If they want to call this an interception, you have to put this in the rulebook. This would be my ideal way to fix this. You're going to see it in slow-mo in a second here. He's going to roll. This is not a voluntary motion. He jumped up in the air. Part of gravity, you got to come down. You have to roll. So for this, he would have to maintain possession through that roll because it's an involuntary motion. He's not catching the ball, getting 2 feet down, and then taking a knee. He's rolling, and you can see that. That's a pretty clear roll just by how his body moves. That would mean that then you would look at this aspect of the rule that I made. This is just a way to kind of clarify possession. So I would define possession. A player must not let the ball move in an unnatural manner during the catch. An unnatural manner includes the ground causing the ball to move, or a defender moving the ball at the beginning of the catch process. Now, I wanted to put beginning of the catch process so that if somebody is going down in a roll situation and the defender comes and punches, that would be a hit on a defenseless receiver, so that you would be able to have that rule go hand in hand. Now, in the sense of the Bills game and the Broncos game, the Broncos defender goes up, as you can see, and contests at the top of this catch. There is clearly, he's going up and contesting at the peak of the catch. At the start of the catch, he is contesting. If a defender strips or causes the ball to leave the receiver's possession while the receiver is still in the air or getting 2 feet down, the pass is incomplete. If the runner is going to the ground involuntarily, the defender must disrupt the pass from the peak of the catch. This is basically to try to make it so that you can't just go punching somebody when they're on the ground. So the last aspect of this, of the actual rule, is this C. And I think this confuses a lot of people. In my opinion, just take it out. If you get 2 steps in and have possession, that's a catch. It makes it so much easier for people to understand. I think we get lost a lot of the time because people are like, well, what's a catch? What's a football move? I mean, it says ward off an opponent or avoid or ward off an opponent. Well, what does that mean? Because this was not called a touchdown. And a lot of people were confused by it. Isaiah Likely, as a Ravens fan, I was in the stadium when this happened. 1, 2. And then you could argue so many things. You could argue him having the ball extended is warding off an opponent. You could argue that they say in the rule that he's reaching. I talked about that. So there's too much confusion. That needs to be eliminated. This would have been a catch. 1, 2, and then the ball is knocked out on the 3rd step, but you wouldn't need it because all you need is 2 feet. There's been many other instances. I couldn't find the exact other one. I believe it was a Steelers instance. I believe it's when I forget what game it was, and that's why I was unable to bring it up. I was gonna use that as another one. Steelers fans, help me out in the comments. I believe it was the AFC Championship versus the Patriots, I want to say, where I think they ruled it going to the ground. He didn't maintain possession through the ground, but he got 2 feet. So my rule would also talk about that. If you got your catch and 2 feet, it's a catch. Like, you don't need the whole aspect of, going to the ground. And even this, it was a voluntary thing, so he would have been down by contact, and it would have been a touchdown anyways. So I think that this clarifies things in a more digestible way for the average fan to understand. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that this is something that would be beneficial? Do you think this is over the top? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Would love to hear your opinions. What would you change? What would you make different? This was official business, so I had to get dressed up. But I also was in all black because we were removing a part of the rule. But I think that this actually could help people understand. And I was trying to really take from talking to average NFL viewers. Like a lot of people don't necessarily study the rule book, don't go and look up the rules. There'll be times I'm such a nerd, I'll be looking up the rules during the game. So, you know, not everybody is like that. I think this would be a way to make the game more understandable. And then when the NFL is really broadening um, into different regions of the world, these rules would just be a lot easier to see. You can see when somebody voluntarily goes to the ground versus their gravity is pushing, when they're up in the air. So I think these would clarify some of the rules. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know what you would change. Thank you for watching. Having a blessed day, evening, afternoon, night, whatever it is for you. I hope it goes well. Follow me on Instagram. Subscribe here on YouTube. Hopefully we see you in the next one. Peace.